Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope you all fine. Dear students, this lecture is for grade 7, subject science, chapter number 7. This is my 20th lecture, and I am your lecturer, Mrs. Saira Jamal. Today we will discuss the topic use of hydrocarbons as fuels. Burning of fuels is another example of a chemical change. Fuel that we use to run our vehicles or factories consists of substances known as hydrocarbons. What are hydrocarbons? A hydrocarbon is a compound consisting of only hydrogen and carbon atoms. As from the name indicated, hydro comes from hydrogen and carbons from carbon. So a hydrocarbon is a compound consisting of only hydrogen and carbon atoms. These hydrocarbons are mostly obtained from crude oil. Crude oil means petroleum. When hydrocarbons burn in the presence of oxygen, hydrocarbon means when we burn the hydrocarbons in the presence of oxygen, like one of the example I told you, the petrol or the coal or natural gases, they are composed of hydrocarbons. So when we burn these hydrocarbons in the presence of oxygen, so what will happen? They will give us new product. So the formation of new product, definitely I told you, is a chemical reaction, because in chemical reaction, the composition of a substance changes. So as a result of burning of hydrocarbons, a lot of heat is produced, and people use this heat for various purposes such as cooking, heating, even movement of the automobiles. We are using that heat for the movement of the automobiles, like the petrol, it burns in the automobile's engine and it produces heat, and that heat is utilized for the running of the automobiles. So you can see in this image, this is an example of a hydrocarbon which contain only carbons and hydrogen. So 3 carbon and there are 8 hydrogen atoms present. So this is one of the example of hydrocarbon, and the 3 carbon containing hydrocarbon is called propane. In this image, you can see the burning of hydrocarbon in the presence of oxygen and will give us the product carbon dioxide. These two pink balls are for the 2 oxygen atom and the black one is for the carbon. And then also along with carbon dioxide, water will produce, and then a large amount of heat will release, or energy will release in the form of heat or light. So this reaction is called combustion reaction. Burning of hydrocarbon in the presence of oxygen to give carbon dioxide, water, and a large amount of heat is released or energy is released. So these type of reactions are called combustion reaction. Hydrocarbons show combustion reaction, and as hydrocarbons are totally converted into new products, so it is a chemical change. Burning of fuel, that the fuel may be coal, the fuel may be petrol, the fuel may be natural gas. All these are examples of hydrocarbons, and the burning of these hydrocarbons will give us new products. So the burning of fuel is example of chemical change. Use of fertilizers in agriculture. You know that repeated cultivation of crops means that in a land, if you cultivate a crop and then after cutting and then you are trying to cultivate another crop, so this means that you are repeating the same land for cultivation. So this repeated cultivation of crops actually decreases the fertility of soil, and then to increase the fertility of soil, farmer uses some substances to increase the fertility of soil, and for this purpose they use fertilizers. So a substance which adds minerals to the soil is called a fertilizer, or a substance which increases the fertility of a land are called fertilizer. It may be, fertilizers are of two types: natural fertilizers, which are also called organic fertilizer, or a chemical fertilizer, which are also called main fertilizers or inorganic fertilizer. So the natural fertilizers, which are also called organic fertilizers, they are better than the synthetic fertilizer or man-made fertilizer or inorganic fertilizer. You can give any name to them. So many chemical fertilizers, I told you, they are man-made or they're also called synthetic because we prepare those fertilizers in factories. Many chemical changes takes place during their preparation, and most fertilizers, they supply important nutrient to the soil because these nutrients are required for the proper growth of a plant. So what are those nutrients which are present in fertilizers and which those fertilizers provide to the soil, which help in the growth of a plant? Those nutrients are nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and these are the elements which are required for the growth of a plant. And the fertilizer, we can combinedly give it a name NKP. NKP, N is for nitrogen, K for potassium, and P for phosphorus. These three elements or these three minerals are very important for the proper growth of plants. Physical properties of fertilizers such as their particle size, you can see the size of particle in this case, and also the particle size is in this case. The particle size and their hardness are very important. So these balls size or granular fertilizers look hard, and this sandy fertilizer look soft. Small size particle of fertilizer dissolve easily in water, and hard particles are better than soft one because they release nutrients gradually. When you put soft fertilizer, so definitely they will dissolve in water and will washed out with rainwater. But if you use the hard fertilizer, and those hard fertilizer will not dissolve in water easily, and it will take time for resolution in water. As a result, they will remain there for a long time and will release the nutrients slowly. So hard fertilizers are better than the soft fertilizer. And the best fertilizer is a liquid fertilizer because the liquid fertilizer is in the form of solution, and it like it will absorb by the plant suddenly and then will not washed out with the rainwater. So liquid fertilizer are dustless and they reach to every plant easily. So these are the important fertilizer. You can see here the fertilizer which we are using, which are called organic fertilizer. These are the animal dungs, and the dung of animals are very useful fertilizer. We also call them manure. So that manure is good fertilizer. Fertilizers are also formed from the rotten fruits and rotten vegetables and all the uh, or the waste of the vegetables and the fruits. They can be used for the preparation of composite. Composite is called organic fertilizer too because it is also made up of these natural remains or waste of the fruits and vegetables and other important things. And this one is the synthetic fertilizer, which is made in factories and is in granular in shape. We call it synthetic fertilizer, man-made fertilizer, or inorganic fertilizer. And these two, the manure and the composite, they are called the organic fertilizer and natural fertilizers. This is the liquid fertilizer. I told you the liquid fertilizer, by spraying we can provide this liquid fertilizer to the crops and they will easily be absorbed by the plant. Even you can see here, and they will help in the growth of a plant. So harmful effect of improper use of fertilizer in case of excessive spreading. Some fertilizers are not absorbed by the plants. I told you, especially those fertilizers which are easily soluble in water. They will wash out with water, and these fertilizers may reach into canals and rivers, causing water pollution and encourage the growth of algae. You can see the growth of algae in water. This is green color are the algae which grow in water or in river or in canals. This algae, the production of algae in water due to the fertilizers which washed out from the crops or from the fields, they causes this problem which is called eutrophication. So eutrophication is a problem which happens due to the fertilizers in water, which causes the rapid growth of algae in water, and that algae will not allow the sunlight to go inside the water, and then in turn causes, and also this causes the death of the aquatic plants in river or in canals. So during the manufacture of chemical fertilizer, like those fertilizer which we call synthetic fertilizer, main fertilizer, due to the manufacture of chemical fertilizer, a lot of fuel such as coal and natural gases are used, due to which our fossil fuel reserves are reducing quickly, and waste materials of plant and animals are called manure, and manure is rich in nutrients needed by the soil, and chemical changes in manure increases the production of crop. As I told you, that the dung of animals and the waste of human beings even also are used as a fertilizers. And waste of plants, I told you, the composite, that may be vegetables or that may be fruits, which are used as a composite or as a fertilizer for plants. Then next topic is about how does vegetable oil change into fat. So a chemical process called hydrogenation. Hydrogenation, from the name indicated, addition of hydrogen. Addition of hydrogen or hydrogenation is a process which changes vegetable oil into solid fat, which is called banaspati ghee. And you are familiar with this ghee which we are using. And when hydrogen is passed through vegetable oil, you can see edible oil. And when hydrogen gas is passed through that edible oil, in the presence of catalyst, nickel we use as a catalyst. Catalyst, are the compound which they may be metal or they may be any compound which increase the speed of a reaction, and also we will give heat to this step when you mix oil with and when you pass hydrogen gas and oil, and by heating and in the presence of catalyst, the oil will convert it into ghee. This is the oil, and after this hydrogenation, I told you addition of hydrogen, the oil will convert it into ghee. So when hydrogen is passed to vegetable oil in the presence of catalyst nickel, it converts into a solid fat, and this process is called hydrogenation because addition of hydrogen. Vegetable oil is liquid while fat or ghee is solid at room temperature, and room temperature means normal temperature, which is mostly 25 degrees centigrade in our surrounding. And a large amount of heat is used to bring about this chemical change. I told you heat, we utilize heat to convert vegetable oil into ghee. We are using gas, catalyst, and also heat. So that's why they over here said that a large amount of heat is used to bring about this chemical change, conversion of oil into fat or ghee, which is called hydrogenation. You can see the reaction: vegetable oil plus hydrogen will convert it into banaspati ghee, which is called fat. So one of the example is over here. Margarine, you have heard about it, is the result of chemical changes. It is a mixture of hydrogenated vegetable oil and skim milk. In hydrogenation, hydrogen is passed through the vegetable oil, and some people use margarine in place of butter. Margarine, mostly people are using in place of or as an alternate source of the butter. Margarine is also, you can say, an alternate of butter, but it is obtained from the animal sources. The butter is obtained from animal sources, while margarine is obtained from the plant sources, like conversion of plant oil into butter, which is margarine, and we use it in place of the butter. Then next topic is about the plastics. Plastics are also the result of chemical changes. What is plastic? A plastic is any material that can be molded into any form. Mold means change. We can make different, like you can see in this image, plates, spoons, cups, all type of things we can make. Even these pipes, you can see the water pipes, we can make it from the plastic. So plastic can be molded into mean change into any shape, or it can be converted into any shape or any form. Plastics are very large molecules made from many smaller molecules called monomers, and that is why plastic are also called polymers. Long molecules made from smaller molecules obtained from crude oil. From where we obtain these monomers, and monomers combine together to give us polymer, which is called plastic. From crude oil, petroleum, I told you petrol is also called crude oil. Impure form of petrol is called crude oil. After purification, then we can get the pure petrol from the crude oil. As I told you, these are examples of the plastic. This is one of the plastic, this is one of the plastic, and then they give us the polymers. Polymer means like the monomer combined together, or small unit combined together and give us polymer. Example is polyethylene, polythene bags, the plastic bags which we are using in our daily life. It is plastic and a polymer. Polyvinyl chloride, PVC. This is these pipes are called polyvinyl chloride or PVC pipes, which we use for water, and are some of the example of plastic. You can see this orange part is a monomer, and N mean that many number of these two carbon atom and with four hydrogen atoms, C2H4, they will combine together because this is monomer. In the bracket they showed the monomer, and these monomer you can see combine at left and right side and then form long chain, and those long chains then are then called polymer, and then they are used to make plastic. Same is over here. This is a monomer of polyvinyl chloride. Same, this monomer and this monomer is same. The difference is only that instead of this hydrogen atom, a chlorine is attached over here. So this is called vinyl chloride monomer. This is vinyl chloride monomer, and this one is called ethylene monomer. Ethylene, so polyethylene, and vinyl, then polyvinyl. Many vinyl group combine together, so polyvinyl, and then they will form this polymer, which is called PVC or polyvinyl chloride, and it is an example of plastic. By heating, plastic can be molded into a number of shapes. We can find it in monomers, in toys, cups, bottles, and even utensils like in plates, cups, glasses. Plastic do not decay and therefore are a cause of pollution. The problem of plastic is that they do not decay, and that's why they are one of the cause of the water of the pollution. Uh, the only solution of plastic is recycling. Recycling is the best way to deal with pollution caused by plastic. Otherwise, they are not biodegradable, they are not decomposed by bacteria or other microorganisms, and causes pollution. Then reversible and irreversible changes. A change that can go forward or backward is called it's a temporary change, and it is reversible. We can get the same thing again in reversible reaction. Melting of ice into liquid water, switching on a tube light, increase of heartbeat during running, mixing of salt in water, wetting a dry cloth, etc. are reversible changes. They can easily be reversed, and because when water melt, it can be converted back into ice, and our heartbeat, when we run, it become high, but when we sit, then it get normal. Mixing of salt, I told, when we heat that water will evaporate out and the salt will left in the bottom of the beaker. So all these processes are reversible processes, and that's why we call them the physical changes, because physical changes can be reversed. A change that cannot go back is called an irreversible change. That may be a chemical change. An irreversible change can also we can also call it chemical change, and it is a permanent change. As we discussed, for the chemical change, we cannot again get the thing in its original form, like turning of milk into yogurt, mixing of plaster of Paris with water, burning paper and wood, rotten egg or fruit, etc. All are irreversible changes. And I told we can also call them chemical changes, because chemical changes are permanent and they are irreversible. How can we relate reversible and irreversible changes to physical and chemical change? I told you we discussed the same thing for the physical and chemical changes, that they are physical changes are temporary and they can be reversed, and chemical changes are permanent and they cannot be reversed because new products are formed and those new products cannot be converted back into their original form. Some of the examples of reversible and irreversible changes are here: melting of ice cream. If when we keep it back in the freezer, it will again convert it into the frozen form. Burning of wood is chemical change, or it is irreversible because the wood will turn into ash, carbon dioxide gas, and heat will evolve out, and we cannot convert the ash back into wood. Melting of ice, yeah, is physical change because by keeping the ice in refrigerator or in fridge, you'll convert it back into ice. Salt in water, or by heating, water evaporate out and salt will left behind. So physical change in reversible. Freezing of water is a reversible. We can melt it and then freeze it again. Making bread is irreversible because new products are formed which cannot be reversed. Frying pancake, again chemical change and irreversible. Baking a cake, irreversible, and it is a chemical change. Extend your thinking. When sugar is heated for a long time, it forms a solid black substance. Identify it as a reversible or irreversible change. So when sugar is heated, definitely after heating sugar, it turns into a brown. It first melt, and after melting, it then decomposed and will give us a product which we call it caramel. But it will initially melt. The sugar melt out at 140 degrees centigrade, and very soon after that melting, it decomposes and turn into a brown product. And if you will continue heat it, then the brown will convert into black product, and then fumes will come out and sugar will decompose. Decompose means break down into carbon and hydrogen and oxygen in the molecule, vaporize as various organic fragments. So as the sugar, which is sucrose, and formula of sugar is C12H22O11, it contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. After eating for a long time, the structure of sugar will breaks down, decompose, and will give carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen separately. So it is a chemical change and it is irreversible. We cannot convert back this decomposed form of sugar into the original sugar form. Some of the examples of reversible and irreversible reactions are here. This melting of ice is reversible. Burning of paper is irreversible. This double arrows show reversible and single arrows show irreversible reaction. So reversible because double arrows are here. One arrow means irreversible, double arrow reversible, double arrows reversible. This is a single arrow, so irreversible. We cannot convert this cooked egg back into the raw egg. Chocolate, melted chocolate can be converted into the frozen form, solid form. Corn can be ground, then we cannot convert them back into the corn seeds. Flour converted into the baked form, we cannot convert the baked flour into the raw flour. So all these are some of the examples of the reversible and irreversible reactions. Society, technology, and science. Many people use plastic bags for grocery, but some people prefer paper bags. Both of these bags come from natural resources, which are rapidly reducing. The resources from which we are making, as I told you, from crude petrol. We take ethylene. Ethylene is then used to make polyethylene, and polyethylene is these polythene bags which are called plastic bags. So we prepare these plastic bags from the natural sources, like from the crude petrol, which is natural and resource. By the use of, if we make more plastic bag, definitely then we will use more petrol, and then the you can say the amount of petrol will decreases. So decide which bag should be used for grocery: the paper bag, cloth bag, or plastic bag. Paper bags can hold more items than plastic bags, but paper bags come from trees. Plastic bags are lighter in weight and they are waterproof. The paper bags are not waterproof, and plastic bags are usually non-biodegradable. You can see the pollution caused by the plastic bags because they are not biodegradable. I told the only solution is recycling of the plastic. So plastic bags are usually non-biodegradable. Non-biodegradable mean they are not decomposed by bacteria or other microorganisms, and that's why they cause land pollution. Plastic bags can be recycled. I told you only pollution is the recycling to convert them back into the another product. What is the right choice? Both paper and plastic bags have some advantages and some disadvantages, but the best choice may be neither paper nor plastic. So what should we do then? One reusable cloth bag could replace hundred of paper and plastic bag. So it will be better to use the paper bag. Paper bags, sorry, the cloth bag. Cloth bags are best use. We can reuse them, just wash them and then reuse them. They can hold more things inside them. They have more capacity to hold things, and another important thing is they are not causing any pollution. But the plastic bags, I told you, they are non-biodegradable, and that's why they cause many problems like blockage of the drainage system and pollution. If we burn them, then they produce toxic gases, and those toxic gases then in turn causes air pollution, and air pollution may then cause many health problems. So the best way is try to reduce the use of plastic. When we will reduce the use of plastic bag, then what will happen? The factories will not synthesize more plastic bags. When they will not synthesize more plastic, then they will not use the petrol or crude petroleum, and then we can use that petrol for other purposes. So the resources will not decrease. As they said that both of these bags come from natural resources. For paper bag, we will not cut trees, and for the plastic bag, we will not use the petroleum on large scale. So the best choice is try to use the cloth bag. That is a best choice. So dear student, this was all about chapter number 7. I hope you understand this chapter, and the chapter is completed now. Inshallah, in our next lecture, we will start the next chapter. Till then, take care and love.